Boom. Particular mushroom.
Hello everyone, this is Particular Mushroom, and welcome to my top 10 unintended maneuvers in Super Mario Sunshine. Now you might be thinking, what do I mean by an unintended maneuver? An unintended maneuver is a set of moves that produces an unexpected result, like a shortcut or reaching a ledge that seems unreachable. However, I am disqualifying all wall clips, also known as glitches. There's already enough really good and difficult glitches to make an entirely separate list based on that. And I'm also pretty bad at pulling them off. I tried the Serena Beach glitch for a good while with no progress before deciding I'm just no good at glitches. My criteria for this list is as follows, weighted from most valued to least. Difficulty, how technical this maneuver is. Significance, how much it affects your gaming experience. And style, how cool I think it is. With that said, let's get this list going. The number 10 maneuver on this list takes place during the episode The Boss of the Tricky Ruins, except we're going to be ignoring the Tricky Ruins part. You can actually do this in any episode of Nuki Bay, but here's where it makes the most sense. So you climb up to the top of the waterfall, which is much easier now that all the goop's gone, and flip up to where the 1-up is hanging out next to its old buddy, Purple Lily. Whether you choose to tear this relationship apart is up to you. I did, of course, so I could concentrate. I never forget you. You were my best friend. Never forget you. You were my best. Next, you simply reverse direction, perform a triple jump, hover up this slope here, and boom, you just skipped the ruins. This maneuver isn't very difficult, and the tricky ruins part isn't really that bad in the first place. But this move is simple and sleek, earning its number 10 spot. Number 9 can first be done in my favorite episode of Rico Harbor, the Caged Shine Sprite. I'm not sure why I like it so much, for such a basic episode. Maybe it's the Geronimo feeling I get diving into the cage. Well, regardless, this maneuver is having nothing to do with it. So basically, you get to a ledge that's nearby the hexagonal structure, jump, and just as you go under, you launch your hover and tack right on. It's interesting that they put this flippy bit here, but then I realized if you fall into the cage in later episodes, you need some way to get out. This finishes the episode real quick, if you do it successfully. I kinda wish number 8 was higher on the list, but hey, that just means we got a lot more good ones coming. So before you even unearth the Pianta statue, there are 10 shines you can get, not including blue coins, and with glitches, it's something like 27? Yeah. One of my favorites is the hidden secret box over on the side of Delfino Plaza. No, not that one. Everyone knows about that one. The one near the cannon. I assume you could do it with the turbo nozzle, but it's cooler with the hover nozzle. So basically, you line up with, well, I'm not sure what reference point we have here. Well, parallel to the wall, that sounds good enough. And then you want to do a triple jump. But the neat thing about this one is we're not going for height, we're going for distance. So you want to wait until your jump falls to about your starting height, and then hover. If you did it right, you should just barely reach the trunk of the lowest tree. That's the most technical part. Of course, be careful you don't fall climbing those trees. Now, I really didn't want to put number 7 on this list, but I cannot deny its usefulness. Now, everyone who's ever talked about the Heart of Shines knows about the Death River. This baby is a bullet bill out of nowhere straight to your face. I mean, you're already waiting years to get here because Yoshi can't swim and those boats take forever. And when you finally get to the secret box, it's a one-way trip down an insta-death poison river while collecting red coins on a disintegrating lily pad. But what if I told you it's not over if you miss a red coin? That's right. If you miss a red coin, all you have to do is walk back on the sides, and there's a respawn lily pad waiting for you. Yeah, the sides aren't the easiest things to walk on, but they're generally straight lines, so angle your camera and just hold up on the controller. If Mario gets too close to the edge or there's a curve, strafe slightly or rotate the camera. I would just recommend you don't grab that last red coin, however tempting it may be, lest you die from the shine camera. Ugh, that thing is awful. Let me mark number 6 right now as the most hilarious one on this list. I don't know how much trouble you have with Glooper Blooper, but once you master this maneuver, Pokies will be harder to kill. Seriously. So I can't say no tentacles, because you do have to rip off one to start the first battle. But other than that, there's no need to rip off anymore. So when you grab the monster squid, if he doesn't have his front 2 arms ripped off, he usually flings them right at you. However, if you spray Glooper in the face, he swings at you, and if you grab his mouth before the animation resets, he doesn't do anything. He just sits there, waiting. It's almost heart-rending, except for the fact that Flood keeps yelling at you and saying, "You must find a way to find it! You must find a way to find it!" What the heck is wrong with you, Flood? I'm trying to send this lost and lonely creature back home, and you want me to rip its arms off. Mario's not the only violent one, guys. You fight this blooper 3 times over the course of your adventure, and each time you can do this exact same thing. The thing I like about this most, though, is that when you launch Glooper off, his tentacles follow him, but are unattached to his body. No wonder they rip off so easily. Number 5 is not too flashy, but it is the most significant maneuver in this list. It allows you to get to Pianta Village as soon as you first land in the plaza. But you can't get everything, as you will need Yoshi for some stuff. So make your way to the Dirty Shine Sprite via wall jumping or porthole, and then line up for a triple jump. Once you reach the maximum height, which is earlier than it seems, begin hovering and you should get enough height to grab the ledge. Jump into that pipe and there you have it. So I was thinking about putting the Blooper Surfing Safari skip into this list, but then I thought of something better for number 4. How about beating the race without a blooper? It's actually only possible using the path done in the skip. So I guess then there's a spiritual representation. Yeah, I'm not sure why the race starts when you cross the starting line without a blooper, but it definitely makes for an interesting strategy. Guys, I'm definitely a blooper surfing legend, no doubt about it. So what are you thinking right now when I tell you that number 3 is about pachinko? Well, sorry to say, but this is not about to make anything easier, and in fact, this is something needlessly complicated. So there's an interesting mechanic in this game where as long as you walk up a slope that's not too steep, you won't slide down. This spawned the stupid idea of, can I get to the top of pachinko? Yes, you can, but no, it's not easy. So first off, you're gonna need the rocket nozzle, so you'll need that in the plaza. Once you're inside the pachinko, you need to find the socket closest to the highest slope in the back, which is basically the top left green one. Now there's 3 problems. First, the socket tends to spit you out in a sitting position, and if that happens, you're done. So it turns out, if Mario dives forward while inside the socket, he'll get spit out standing upright. Don't ask me how that works. So now he can stand on the slope, but problem 2, if we tilt the wrong way for a fraction of a second, Mario starts sliding. So what's the solution? We can't rotate the camera. What that meant for me was, the camera was facing the back of the pachinko. Yeah. But there's one more problem. Even if you do everything right, Mario will still start sliding down after a few seconds. So, you have to start charging the rocket nozzle immediately. And finally, after a whole... only 15 minutes? Really? Well, after 15 minutes, I finally got to the top, and I'm rewarded with this. Yeah, so the pachinko machine has some weird physics, and they didn't bother to put a lid on it. So when you get to the top, the game forces you into the middle with the only option of belly flopping to your death. Fun stuff. But hey, while I was playing around with pachinko, this happened. Mario, is everything okay? So number 2 is, hands down, my favorite maneuver to do in this game. If number 1 wasn't so technical, this would be it. Not only is the maneuver satisfying to pull off, but it skips an entire section of this level that was specifically crafted for this episode. Welcome to the Goopy Inferno shortcut. Although apparently there's some way to do it where you shimmy on a ledge and dive bomb from one of the trees. No. We do it the funner way. More fun. Whatever. So the whole premise of this episode is that FLUDD's stolen, and this goop that sends you backward when you touch it is surrounding FLUDD. So you might think that you can't use any water. However, that's not true. You see, there's a lake right in the middle of the map which you can access through a river over here. And when Mario jumps out of the water, he brings some of it with him, which can wash off some goop. So all you have to do is make enough room for a triple jump and do just that over to where FLUDD is. There's no other point in the game where pulling water out of a lake with Mario's body is of any use to you, since you're wearing FLUDD practically the entire time. That makes this maneuver truly special, but not special enough to be number 1. I'm sure some of you, if not all of you, are going to think I'm crazy when I say that my number 1 unintended maneuver in Super Mario Sunshine is getting the 100 coin shine in Delfino Plaza. Now let me clarify this by saying this is before the boats move. But I know there's still particular mushroom. Who cares if the boats move? What is this joke of a number 1? Show us the real choice. But I am not kidding when I say this shine is nuts to get without boats, without Yoshi, without rocket nozzle. The only thing that took me longer to do was try and get to the top of Hotel Delfino, but that never worked out. Okay, so when this thing spawns, it flies all the way out to that lonely wooden platform in the middle of nowhere. And there is nothing nearby this thing, and you can't just swim out to it because it's way too high. And honestly, I thought it was going to be impossible. But then I saw the porthole. Now I don't know where the idea came from, but for some reason, when Mario pops out of a porthole, he goes higher than he would with a rocket nozzle. It makes no practical sense, but man, am I glad it's there. So my first instinct was to launch out of that thing and try and hover over, but it's not going to be good enough. I kept thinking, maybe I hovered too early, maybe too late, maybe I have to spin jump, maybe I'm not hopping out of the porthole correctly. Then I get a lucky one that almost makes it, and my gut just tells me it's possible. And finally, I got it. So here's how you do it. Stand just past the edge of the porthole exit. Start moving and almost immediately afterward, jump. Then slightly before reaching maximum height, transition to a spin jump. Yes, you can do this in the middle of the air. And slightly before reaching the height of the wooden platform, turn the hover on. It looks simple enough, but there are several nagging factors in your way here. If you're running too fast, you just grab the wall of the sewer. If you're not moving at all, you won't cover enough distance. If you spin too early, you won't get enough height. If you spin too late, you're already falling too fast. And you need to be angled properly and straight the entire time. This is definitely not the most difficult thing you can do in this game, but it sure is up there. I was at a loss for words for how I got that extra distance, and still am now. A maneuver worth the number 1 spot. Also, this banana is in a different spot for some reason. So what did you guys think of this list? Do you agree with it? Was there something I missed? Hey, that rhymes. If you like this list, I recommend you subscribe. I'm going to tear this game apart. I'm doing a list on anything slightly reasonable in this game, from top 10 blue coins to top 10 ways Mario can die. If you have a Super Mario Sunshine list you would like to see, or anything interesting to say for that matter, pop me a comment below. Thank you for watching.